Hey all, thanks for watching. We've got a 2001 Intrigue that has been working pretty well for about 6 months, and all of a sudden we could turn the key over, but nothing would happen. Now this was something that turned into kind of a long drawn out cycle for this car. So basically I went through 3 cycles for troubleshooting this car and trying to fix it. So the first round was the AC light started flashing, blinking real quick on and off. It was kind of weird, and then the AC quit working. So that was kind of a problem. So I had done some reading and saw a lot that indicated the ignition switch was probably the problem, so I swapped that out for a new one. That worked for about 2 months, and then we got a situation where it would crank, but it would not start, and the security light would start flashing. So I did a little bit more research on that, and I installed the security bypass resistor, which I'll link down below and in the comments section. So you got a good resource to look that problem up. So anyways, we put the bypass resistor in, and that worked pretty well for about 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden it's quit working again, doing kind of the same thing, but not quite. It wasn't starting, and I didn't notice until later that the security light was not flashing this time. It took me a little while to figure that out. At any rate, so I kept working on it. And I noticed eventually that it wouldn't start when it was cool outside. So sometimes it would start and sometimes it wouldn't, but it was really on those cool mornings where it wouldn't start. So that kind of got me thinking, gee, is this the ECM somehow being triggered by a cool condition? Maybe one of the sensors is triggering something, who knows? So I started going through a whole troubleshooting process there. I actually troubleshot to the extent where I froze the ECM with ice and some of the other modules to see if that would fix it. That did not fix it at all. It wasn't a heat or cool thing specific to the electronics. That much I knew. So at that point, I started thinking, man, this just kind of feels like maybe something's a little off with the wiring. Maybe there's a slightly bad connection or some corrosion in the system that's causing the problem. So I started messing around with the wiring harness, and finally I was able to recreate the problem manually by wiggling the wires. And basically what it came down to is I could take the wire loom on the ignition switch, wiggle that a bit, and I could make it go off and I could make it go on just by moving it. So my first thought was, oh gee, maybe there's some corrosion in the connector itself. That wasn't the case. They were perfectly clean. I double cleaned them, sprayed them out with connection cleaner, and that really didn't make a difference. So I was able to take the switch apart, and I'm going to show you how I did that in the video next, on the next slide here. But basically I took the switch apart, cleaned the contacts up, and I'll show you those contacts as well, and we'll just go through that process real quick. This was not something that took a lot of time to fix once I figured out what the actual problem was. All right, so to get in there, you have to get the instrument cluster out. So over here, you've got 4 screws right here, right here, right here, and right here. And don't forget there's a little connector down here that you have to remove as well to pull that out. There's a large connector on the back that will unplug, and then you can lift that out. You will probably have to move the wheel back and forth maybe a few times to get that thing out properly. All right, so the other thing you'll have to do is remove the radio. There's 4 bolts holding the radio in. One of those bolts screws into this connection on the switch itself, so you have to take that out. Sometimes it's a little easier to take this hazard switch out as well. You might try that. But the whole thing is that with the radio out, you now have access to put your hand up in that cavity and push that switch out this way so that you can pull that switch out. There is a connector on the switch that you'll have to take out, and that's that connector. All right, let's get rid of all this, and we'll take a look at the next phase once you get that switch out. All right, so the switch is out, and here's a little video on that switch. And what I'm going to show you here is how those contacts inside that switch actually work. And you'll see if you have some dirty or corroded or damaged contacts, you're going to have some problems. So they're just pushed in and out by that key tumbler, and you can see there that if there's any corrosion in there or any problems, you're going to have issues with that switch. I did take that switch apart, cleaned it all up. I used basically really light sandpaper, so I started with 240 grit, I think it was, and went to up to 800 grit to burnish those connectors inside. And I'll give you a hint on what that looks like. You've got two pieces inside here that you need to pay attention to, and they kind of fall apart. You see here, just to skip back over to the video here, you can see here that we're putting this thing back together. This is how you take it apart. You have to unsnap that housing, if you will, off of this, the back of this switch, and then you can just place that housing back on to reassemble the switch, and it works just fine after that. At any rate, once you're in that switch, you're going to see these silver pieces here, and you're going to see copper pieces here. All right, the copper are the contactors. The silver pieces actually put pressure on the copper pieces to make that contact work. And I modified those slightly. I bent them just to make more pressure on the switches itself, if that makes sense. Here, let's get rid of all these marks here. This is the silver piece that puts pressure on the contactor right there. So there we go. So this here shows a close-up of the switch itself, the contactor, and you can see that little black dot there. It looks like maybe a little arcing has happened. Same thing on this one, and that's where your problems stem from. You can see on this one, you've got the same there. This one looks pretty clean, but this one here, you can see it as well. So that needs to be cleaned up with the sandpaper. Here's a picture or close-up of those once they're cleaned up. So this, again, I put a little bit more pressure with these silver tabs that you've got here. I made a little bit higher pressure so that these close positive. It could be that these are adjusted a little bit light. It's amazing to me that I had 3 switches basically do the same thing, cause the same problem with the car. And this might be the root of the problem. At any rate, it's been running for 4 months now. Now it's into the winter and it's cold, and I haven't had any problems with the car at all since then. So I'm calling it fixed at this point. I have no doubt that eventually I'll have to take this back out, reburnish those or resand down those contacts. There may be some other electrical issues on how this is manufactured. I wouldn't expect to see a lot of arcing on this if it was properly manufactured, but there were those arc marks. So that could be something that pops up in the future, but getting that switch out really is not a difficult problem. It's something that might take a half an hour at best, and that would do it. So thanks for watching, and I hope this helps out if you've got one of these cars.